fighting, boys. Keep going, we'll just put away in front.
Changing positions further down as well. Okamoto and Goto have just exchanged 8th position to the advantage of the Nissan driver. So they're up then into P8. And let's see whether they can make any further forward progress. Interestingly, the Soft Shop runners have pulled out a gap of about 2 seconds. So they're now out of that slipstreaming range here in this part of the race, which is great news there for them. But what about Ryota Kokeman here in the Mazda? He's going to pull alongside the Lexus, coming down the straight in towards the big braking zone. So it's now Mazda versus Lexus, and it's Mazda with the advantage with the inside line, and Toyota and Morimoto are going to try and join the party. There's a bit of hip and shoulder, a bit of contact into the hairpin. That's going to send Sasaki wide and drop them down about 3 or 4 places as a result of that as well. So it's now starting to get a bit fast and a bit frantic with these medium shot runners, as we still sit side by side now here between Morimoto and Kokeman for 4th place.
It's Kawakami there in that Lexus, and it will get a little bit rowdy now, Tom, as you say. There is running really one line through these corners here due to the cameras on the circuit, so as soon as you start going 2 by 2, you just end up having usually inevitable contact. We're on board now with Hiroshi Okamoto for Nissan. Great seat here of the fight ahead of us. Lamborghini in front in P7, almost pushing that thing along in our glorious turbo brick as we go down to T1 one more time. Really fast left hand this one. You want to use all the roads here. Watch out for that barrier on the right hand side. I think there may be a little bit of contact with the wall there from Morimoto, but still able to hold the position for now as it comes down to the hairpin for the 3rd time.
So Kokeman then in the wheel tracks here of the Toyota. In the background there, you've got Mazda looking like they're trying to put a bit of pressure, but also behind as well, you've got Goto versus Okamoto, part 3. Now Okamoto gets the better of the Lamborghini driver through into that hairpin once more. The gap at the front still continues to build. They're just running their own race here at the moment and have pulled out an advantage of about 2.5 seconds or so over Oxato on the medium compound of tyres. Let's have another look at what happened then down into the hairpin bend. This is what cost AMG some track position. They're going to get biffed here, I think, by Okamoto first of all, and Goto there was on his inside as well. So that just lost them 2 places and possibly a 3rd. They're just able to get the better of them on the exit of the corner.
You guys watching the Spanish Grand Prix running, Charles? Good effort, good move, strong move. But meanwhile, in front of the grid, Miyazono had actually pulled back on to the rear spoiler of Suzuki in front. So there is pace there in that BRZ. I was giving it a great feel at the start of the show, but actually it's looking pretty quick, and he's just doing what he needs to do, just holding on to that slipstream, just sitting there. And what sort of trivia is that? Listen to the song Philosophy by Alexandros, right? What?
I've never heard of the song, so I can't really pass comment on it, to be honest.
Go check it out.
If it works for him, it's a Japanese pop song, as we understand it. So if it works for him, great news, because he's sitting in 2nd place at the moment, and he seems like he's in the groove at the moment. Go and have a listen to that after the race, obviously, and let us know what your thoughts are on it. Meanwhile, Kawakami here defends from Morimoto. Across the start-finish line we go. Morimoto with the inside line and track position. Kawakami possibly about to come under threat here from Kokeman as well, but 4th place does change hands to the advantage of the Toyota. Morimoto is now in front, and they're starting to fall off the coattails of Sato in the Porsche here as well. They're about a second or so away, so they need to be careful about how they start battling here.
Speaking of battling, Kawakami is very keen to get that 4th place. Here comes Kokeman as well in the Mazda, looking to almost push that Lexus through the gap. So, well, if you're not going to go for it, I will, but they all stay one at a time for now. And of course, not much you can really do outside of the slipstream round here. It's a one-at-a-time circuit. There are a couple of places to overtake, which right now it is just follow the leader. And with 4 laps in, the soft tyres seemingly still have the pace advantage over the mediums, but that will switch as the race goes on. So right now, if you're Suzuki, if you're Miyazono in front, you're trying to build that gap. You're trying to make the gap as big as possible, so to prepare for that inevitable tyre fall off. The medium runners, though, we think they can go upwards of 13 laps before switching to that soft tyre. So it's about making this tyre last, but also by keep pressuring those soft runners, because that tyre will burn out quickly.
Well, you wonder what the soft tyre runners are going to do with Suzuki and Miyazono. Are they going to go for that 2-stop strategy here in this race? As Kokeman looks to the inside of Kawakami, hits Morimoto there as well. There's more contact behind with Kawakami, then subsequently getting into the back of Kokeman. That's allowed the door to be opened for Okamoto in the Nissan, who now drags alongside the Lexus, and ready to join into the party is Yusuke Goto in the Lamborghini coming through into the right-hander here as well. So it all got a bit frantic there for just a few moments. The upshot is that it's cost Lexus positions here.
How tight this racing is. You've got P4 all the way down to, well, last, and they're just separated by about 2 seconds, all of them there on a similar piece of tarmac. Kawakami has lost a few places now, down 2 places from his qualifying place, but conversely behind him, Okamoto up 3 in the Nissan. He's the biggest mover so far, so watch out for him. He is on a charge.
So, under investigation then is Kokubun versus Morimoto. We saw that collision a few moments ago. Let's see what the stewards decide on that one. Meanwhile, you've got the Porsche there, just sitting in 3rd position. The gap is still stabilised at about a second or so between themselves and Morimoto in the Toyota. Meanwhile, you've got Kokubun versus Kawakami. He was on the outside there. You've got to be so careful with this one though, because they are so close on circuit. You open the doors to take a wider line, and then that possibly means that someone can walk through it from behind, and it compromises your entire run down the next straight.
Yeah, it's you have to be careful here. So interestingly, look at the tyre wear there on those front tyres of Suzuki compared to Miyazono. You'd kind of think maybe that Miyazono would be worse given he's sitting in that dirty air, but I think that car is just a bit lighter, and the weight of the BMW really showing there on those front tyres. So that could be the difference. Going up and down the field though, I think the best on their tyres so far is Kawakami in 6th place, but doesn't mean much if you're stuck there.
No, you've got to try and make the progression through. Maybe just playing the longer game here in this one and waiting for the right time to strike. Kokubun goes to the defensive line into the hairpin bend. It all bottlenecks up, and Okamoto once again gets into the back of Kawakami, and a bit of hip and shoulder there from Kamada in the McLaren as well. Someone is going to be more disappointed than Arusa who's had their tonsils out after this race. I'm fairly sure of it, because they are so close to one another out on this circuit that you can just sense the fact that it is starting to bubble up. We're only on lap 5 as again the McLaren of Kamada looks to the inside of Hashima there.
It's not really a move there to be made, just sort of sticking there and their nose alongside the rear wheel, and you're never going to get through there. You're just going to cause a little bit of contact, but yeah, really getting a little bit desperate now, because if you're stuck at the back of the straight, there's not really much you can do apart from try and push the guy in front of you on a little bit. Now, you might be wondering, well, why aren't these guys bump drafting? They would definitely catch up if they did that. That is actually against the rules here in the GT live events here. You get 1 warning for bump drafting, and then you get a big fat penalty. So that's why those guys are not pushing each other along.
Yeah, they're just taking it fairly easy at the sharp end of this race. We're getting to lap 6 now, which is when we're expecting the